Hello, superstars! Let's get started with today's Norwood News weekly newsletter for Norwood Elementary School for today, Friday, May 21st, 2021. So, we always start with our upcoming important dates, and we'll see that we have a asynchronous day for students coming up on Wednesday, May 26th. But on that same day, we're also going to have the May edition of our Coffee and Conversation series. That's going to be from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday, May 31st, schools and offices are going to be closed due to Memorial Day weekend. And then on Wednesday, June 2nd, Wednesdays are normally asynchronous days, but this will be a live instruction day due to the shortened week. So students should come to school if they normally come to school for hybrid instruction. And all students should be following their Monday schedule. Whether you're virtual or in person, they should follow their Monday schedule on Wednesday, June 2nd. Don't forget about the hours of arrival, 8:20 a.m. for in-person students, 8:30 you should be logging on if you're virtual, and everyone should be done at 3:05 p.m. at the same time. Now, important note about coming to the school, especially when it comes to picking your child up, please make sure to bring your ID. We run into a number of issues where people are starting to drop their guard and to think that they don't need to show their ID because people know them. It does not matter if you know the teachers or the staff and you don't always get asked your ID. It's really important that you have your photo ID with you at any given moment. And it's important because there could be substitutes, there could be other support staff that are handling the dismissal or providing coverage for your child, and they don't know you and they need to check for your ID. And at any time, we could just want to check your ID. So please get into the habit of having your ID always with you. It's a good habit to have in general, and I recognize that some people may have a different form of ID that they don't want to be carrying around always, like especially if you have like a passport that you're using or a passport card, you don't have a state ID. But nonetheless, just make sure you have a photo ID. If it does not have a photo of yourself on it, it does not count. And this is really important because this has actually always been the policy when it comes to picking up children and being released children. It's just important now that you're actually physically walking up to the school, which is different as a result of the pandemic. But you need to know this and explain this to everyone on the emergency contacts list for your children that has the authority to pick up your child. So this goes for the parents themselves, any older siblings, family friends, relatives, just anybody else who may need to be reminded about this. And we cannot make any exceptions, whether you're the parent or you're not. If you do not show your photo ID, the child will not be released to you. And this may delay severely when they get home. We'll have to call and authorize a different parent or the parent themselves if it's a different relative or friend that's coming to pick them up. And if it's older students, make sure that they have a photo ID based on, a lot of times they have them at schools that they give out for the students. So just please be aware of this. And we really appreciate your understanding and patience because this is for your child's safety. Now, when it comes to registration for 2021, we've already had that ongoing, and that's at the very bottom of this newsletter, but virtual learning will occur in next school year, and it's going to look a little bit different. This school year, it's actually been very simultaneous with the teachers themselves taking on the heavy duty of doing simultaneous virtual instruction for those who are at home, as well as in person for those who are in the school. That's going to change. It's now going to be a dedicated staff that will be teaching virtual learning for those who wish to go out of their way and enroll in that program. Everybody else who is either virtual or in person is going to automatically go convert to 5-day-a-week in-person instruction. That's the big takeaway. You don't have to do anything. If you want to be in in-person instruction for next school year, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fill out a form. You don't have to request it. You are good. But if you want to actually be in virtual for any reason, they will have that alternative, and it will not be through your child's normal teacher at their school. Now, they will be also simultaneously enrolled in school. So it's important to note that for certain things like for participating in meals or after school programs like sports and extracurricular activities, if your student receives any support services like a specialist through an IEP or some kind of a team, they may still have to go to the school and can go to the school for those things. But for their actual general curriculum, if they are enrolled in virtual learning, they mainly do it at home through that specific program that has that specific staff for each of the grade levels. Now, if you want to learn more about this program, just click here and you'll be taken to the page that talks a little bit about this, and it has this video that describes it very briefly. So the video is also embedded here in the written version of the newsletter. We'll have the link here in the description of this video. Also, you have to click on the link for the form to be able to fill out to declare your intention and to be a part of it. Now, it was updated recently, so even though this was made available since the 19th of May, and if you filled it out before the 21st, it's good to fill it out again because they made some changes to it. So just to be sure. Otherwise, fill it out before May 31st. Monday, May 31st, Memorial Day is the deadline to be able to go out of your way and to decide that you want to be in this program. Otherwise, you will be automatically enrolled in 5-day a week in-person instruction like everyone else. And that's basically it. That's the main things that you need to know about this program. And you cannot change your mind. So we're really asking you to think thoroughly that if you want to do virtual learning, do not do it going into it thinking that you can just change your mind and switch back to in-person during the school year. We gave everyone that flexibility this school year. That is not going to be the case for this next school year. So please decide, think about it, speak it amongst yourself with your family. They want to make this available for those who still have that need for whatever reason that may be. Now, Miss Julien, is this week's edition of her Social Worker Corner segment, wants to talk a little bit about mindfulness. Now, we've mentioned mindfulness a lot, especially in this month of May when we're talking about mental health awareness, especially amongst children. And so, mindfulness, we've mentioned, has a unique way of being able to regulate your emotions because it helps to decrease stress, anxiety, and depression. So just the ability to be very aware of yourself and your surroundings, what you're feeling, to describe it, whether out loud or in your head, it really takes you out of that moment when you're getting very heightened or just lost in your emotions, whether it be you're very sad or you're very angry or you're, any way that it can happen. Mindfulness really is a useful tool, and it takes practice. It's not something that always comes necessarily easily, even though it sounds easy. So a good tool that she's recommending is this book that's called Listening to My Body by Gabby Garcia. And a picture of the book is included below here, and it basically focuses on these different strategies that kids can use to bring more mindful awareness to their different sensory experiences. So it's a really good family bonding activity to read this book and to practice some of the activities that she's included here for you in an activity guide. So there's a supplementary activity guide. This is not the book itself. This is a PDF of an activity guide, and it's included here. When you open it up either on your phone, remember, click on the dots at the top if you're looking at it on your phone, or just click the download button, and you'll be able to download this PDF or see it a little bit better. And it's just a bunch of different strategies and activities and exercises that will complement the book and supplement it as you were going along and reading the actual book. Now, the other option that she's included here for you is this video, which is an audio narration. So there's a YouTube video of somebody reading this book in English, which if you don't have the book or want to buy the book, that's an option right there for you. And it might be a little bit more fun to be able to talk about it and listen to it rather than just having to sit and read it. So she's giving you these options. It's a very useful tool, and she just encourages everyone to just try it out and see if it can help build their emotional and self-awareness amongst the children. Now, you may want to note that it's a little bit on the wordier side, so it's more advanced than for the younger children. So she's recommending it for those who are 7 years and older primarily. But best of luck. And again, they will continue through the end of the school year to learn a little bit about social emotional learning, and this is one of those key components. When it comes to coffee and conversation, we are continuing on that trend every single month. So for the month of May, join us for the next session in this series that we've had all year long. It's going to be Wednesday, May 26th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And just continuing with this mindfulness and mental health awareness segment, she's going to talk more in depth about mindfulness itself and just how it plays a key role in emotional regulation. So just feel free, as always, to join us on Google Meet, and you can use your child's computer using the code norwoodfamilies. rehashing some of the topics that we started last week because they still have extended deadlines. The art contest about road safety, that's from the sponsored by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. It's just a fun way for students in grades K through 12 to be able to have different submissions of different forms of creative art, like digital art, animated and live videos, crafts, hand-drawn images or photos, all these types of entries to just help them learn about the importance of traveling safely around large trucks and buses. And so the entry form you can click on here, and the entry form is this digital cloud-based fillable PDF that you just fill in a bunch of information, and it gives you more in-depth information about the breakdown of the categories, some of the rules, but this is what you actually have to fill in and submit to be able to participate. And the other link that was included is just the more information that you can read about this actual contest, which includes some of the contest winners previously. So if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration, that might be a good place to go. And don't forget about the emergency broadband benefit for eligible families. This is courtesy of the FCC. And this is basically going to give some families the ability to get a discount. There's three different tiers. It's either $50 a month on broadband service for internet and associated equipment rentals, or it could be $75 a month if you're qualifying on tribal lands that you live on, or a one-time discount of $100 for some kind of device like a laptop, tablet, or desktop computer. And so there's different caveats, like you can't get every single one of those at once. There's a limit, and so you can read more about this program if you just click here, and it tells you more in depth about where it comes from, what the purpose of it is. It describes what we just said. It even has the application on there. So there's three different ways in which you can apply. This is one of them. Another way you can apply is to also talk to your internet service provider. They may actually have their own application method for this, and so you may want to talk to them about it and see if they are participating. And then the other thing you can do is you can also just print out. If maybe computer's not quite your thing, then okay, that's fine. Print out a manual application and you can just fill it out, and then you can send it to the following address that's included here. And they have 9 additional languages instructions. Now here we are including English and Spanish are the 2 primary forms languages that we've seen, the actual forms, but the instructions are included in 9 additional languages. So you click on any of these things to help yourself to this service if you are someone that qualifies. So it's generally for families of lower income. There's also a short video that you can click on if you want to just listen to someone talk a little bit about the program and get yourself up to speed without having to read through the site. And that's it. You're just ending on a note of registration for next school year. It is ongoing, so if you need to register a child for pre-K or kindergarten, starting school for the first time, or you know someone who's transferring or transferring yourself, we are continuing to have registrations open, so please call the school to make sure that we are aware of what you need, and we'll gladly help you out by giving you a packet for depending on which grade span or levels you're in. And that's it. That's it for this week's edition. So thank you for listening. As always, we appreciate your help and your patience with all the different changes. We are in the final lap here as we're getting close to the end of the school year. So thanks for this very difficult year that we've had. As always, there's been a lot that's happened, but as always, we are getting through it. So have a great week and rest of the week. And as always, keep on learning. Thank you.